Yeah, the Crimson have to get to the boards. They have to get better at the boards. They did well against the Rams of URI. We'll see if they can continue that here against Boston University. But the Terriers also good on the boards as well.
Well, Luis, it's going to be a good matchup today. What do you think you're looking for on BU side? What are your keys to the game for you?
Well, for the Terriers, they have to take care of the ball. They cannot turn over the ball against this Crimson team. They scored too many points in transition and off of turnovers, and they've got to limit the damage that Harmony Turner is going to do. She's having a career year and trying to make a statement. BU cannot be one of those statement games for Harmony Turner.
Harmony Turner, 24 points against URI in this building a few weeks ago. For the other side, for the Crimson, what do they need to do to get a win today?
Stick to the game plan, right? You've got to press, you've got to trap. When you create turnovers, if you're the Crimson, you end up winning those matchups. Establish the paint. This is a BU team that's going to try to go into the paint early on. So if you can dictate how that play is played, you could end up winning this game if you're the Crimson.
Well, as the rosters were being announced, the starting lineup was being announced, there was a present box in the middle of the floor. Both teams each bringing presents to the middle of the floor. It is part of their toy drive for this holiday season and for children who don't necessarily have the money to get toys in other places. And I think it's such a wonderful thing that we saw not only Harvard's starting lineup bring out toys, but BU's did as well.
Yeah, crosstown rivalry, but they know what's important around this holiday time, and you love to see it when the opposing team kind of contributes to what's going on at the visiting location. But both these teams are very familiar with each other. Both programs are very familiar, not too far away. BU, probably a 5-10 minute drive from here at Levites Pavilion. So when you have your friends and family able to come out and support, it makes it that much better of an atmosphere.
Well, and that can usually be a game changer, is when you have a lot of fans here for both teams. It's not necessarily as much of a home court advantage in this case for the Crimson.
Yeah, you look at the visiting crowd on the opposite side for BU. They travel well wherever they are, whether they're out of the state or in the state. They bring their fans and their friends and their family. And this is one of those games where the weather last night wasn't great, but today it's already looking beautiful outside. A great day to get out and about, and the fans have already come out and filled out Levites.
Both of our players to watch matching up for the tip. It's Allison Schwertner and Elena Rodriguez. And we're off. Rodriguez wins the tip. And the Crimson are going to have the first offensive possession of the game. Starters for the Crimson are Gabby Anderson, Lithia Hatira, Elena Rodriguez, Elena Rocco getting her first career start today, and of course Harmony Turner, who has the ball now. Turner passes it off to Hatira. Hatira tries to bounce pass it inside to Turner. That one just taken away by BU.
Just great zone defense right there to create that turnover early on.
Another turnover there. That's Harmony Turner's special. See BU starting 5 on your screen now as Harmony Turner goes inside. They're going to call it travel. She almost looked like she wanted the and one, but
went in a little too chaotic.
Yeah.
They didn't have control of the ball, so that contact there didn't really allow the official to give her the call, and you can see she was upset with it after, but right there, a little extra step called for the travel.
Harvard, another turnover in transition. This is why you were talking about the press, and then there you go. Rodriguez turns it right back over. Both teams really need to take a deep breath and get themselves composed here.
We talked about the weather. A little cold maybe, a little cold to start the game.
Had to trudge in through the snow. We all got a lot more snow here than we thought we were yesterday.
Well, Rodriguez walked in with her shorts on. She came from the dorm or wherever, came in ready to go.
Gianna Roos with it now. Inside, Elena Rodriguez finds the ball. Another turnover already. Quick back and forth turnovers, both of these teams. Rodriguez drives inside, kicks it out for a 3. That one hits off the back of the rim. Anderson almost gets the rebound. She does keep it in, but goes straight to BU.
Hustle plays, right? Those are the type of plays that Carrie Moore loves to see.
And what a great 3. That was from Eves Monteagudo. Starting for the first time this season, but also starting in a role she's not really familiar with.
Yeah, Monteagudo is from Valencia, Spain. She gets that international flavor, so can shoot the shot and drive it.
Hatira with a great pull-up there.
I guess you get Spain and Greece. It's a European flavor to start us off.
Monteagudo starting in the point guard role today as well. BU, a couple of injuries, have 3 of their starting point guards out today. And Schwertner down low under the basket.
That's what makes Rodriguez so good. Straight up, doesn't overcommit, doesn't foul too much.
Harvard once again turns it over in transition, though. Strange start for this Crimson. Usually take care of the ball pretty well. Right now, the Crimson only averaging about a little over 13 turnovers a game. Erickson right now right up at the top of the key.
Taylor Moore getting ready to sub in.
Erickson, she nails a 3 on the right wing. BU, a quick couple of threes. It's something that their team is pretty good at.
About Audrey Erickson, sophomore captain.
Yeah.
Kind of take this one on the road and put it on her shoulders.
3 from the Crimson on the other side. Gabby Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson just said, we're going to go threes? Let's go threes then.
Gabby Anderson, not someone who shoots a ton of threes, but she's got a pretty good percentage, about 35%. And that one, just a gap in defense there. Schwartner all alone in the basket. You sometimes get that when you have the press. You're going to have a little bit of open space.
That's how you break the press. Quick passing, get them out of position, and now you're all alone under the basket for an easy 2.
Hatira inside to Rodriguez right on the line, and Anderson down low puts it up with the left. That was huge for the Crimson. This is what you see from them most often. They find open spaces and get their players almost wide open.
And unselfish, right?
Yes.
Easily, plenty of space for Rodriguez to take that shot. Second possession, she decides to pass it to her teammate and give Anderson an open look.
Janarus decides to shoot the 3 instead of passing it off to Schwartner, who is once again open underneath the basket. Another missed 3 there. Harper gets the ball back.
These two teams like to run, especially when they're playing against each other. Last time out was 80-77 for BU in their victory back in 2023.
Turner with it now. She's been quiet to start this one. Hatira shoots the 3. BU gets the defensive board. That's going to be, I think, a big piece of this game. It's going to be the rebounds because both teams are about the same in that margin. We talked about that in the game stats. But Harvard coming off of a game where they had a lot less than they normally do. At URI, they had 25 rebounds. URI, by the way, just a great rebounding team. But Harvard, they do pretty well on the year with rebounding. We saw it, about 35 a game, so 10 less than their average.
Which is crazy because they're 7th in the Ivy League. So the Ivy League is doing a really good job forcing the rebounds.
Big arc three-point shot there. Gabby Anderson, great offensive board. And that results into points, and Harvard takes over the lead after a hot start from BU.
Yeah, and Gabby Anderson really just finding her shot, hit that three-pointer, a couple of easy lay-ins, and that one she fought for the offensive board and got a second chance for the Crimson.
Press once again, working hard for Harvard. Going to leave an open 3 for Erickson, though, and she hits that one off the rim.
It's a good look.
Yeah, BU not afraid. Take some good shots.
Yeah, you got to take the shots that are given to you, and they've made a couple of those three-pointers.
3 there by Turner. That one hits the glass and out. Under 5 now to play in the first quarter. Another open look. This is Cece Bentley. She's going to get fouled by Rodriguez. Rodriguez can't believe it. Bentley, by the way, second start of the year, but she only played in 6 games. This makes her 7th.
Newton College was a small liberal arts school.
Yeah.
That was up there in Newton. Beautiful campus, and then Boston College bought them out and took over the campus, and now it's all BC, so a little BC and BU hit here.
Yep. Hey, we love the Boston rivalry. There's lots of schools here and lots of competition. Harmony Turner trying to get jump-started here, and she finally gets her first 2. She's excited about that. Honestly, Louise, a pretty similar start to how the game against URI went. URI was 7-2 up pretty early in the first quarter, and then Harvard came right back out. That time it was out of the media timeout. Here, Harvard, of course, with the lead. But kind of back-to-back slower starts for the Crimson. You've got to probably attribute a lot of that to just the fact that they've had so much break time between those games.
Yeah, just a longer layoff than they're used to, and these couple of games towards the end of the first half of the season are those longer breaks. You'll get more conference play, a couple of games a week for both these teams later on down the stretch.
3 there down low from Abigail Wright now in the game. That one hits off the rim and out. BU trying to move fast. Harvard almost had the turnover. 7 turnovers, by the way, in the first 5 minutes of this game. A little higher than both of those teams would like. BU here, it's Gianarus. That one hits off the right rim and out. Abigail Wright moving quickly in transition. She throws that one up and gets 2 great transition points for the Crimson. You've got to think that's also going to be a huge important moment for them.
Those are the types of plays that Harmony Turner makes. Just great turnover. It's going to force a timeout here from Boston University. You talked about it, a little bit of a slow start. Now gets back-to-back buckets. Can't let her get going because she will get hot.
Yeah, and Harmony Turner, she just does so well in this building, too. But you just saw her really just pumping the crowd up. She loves to be a player like that. You will see her always trying to get the crowd engaged. That one she's excited about. Great bucket. Great replay there from our crew.
We talked about the keys to the game is keep that press going, keep that trap going. Those are the outcomes of the Carrie Moore press and trap. Those types of defensive plays where everybody is moving. Nobody's stagnant. Nobody's waiting for the ball to be passed. They're jumping lanes. They're reading eyes, and that's what you want to see from this offense and the defense, specifically from the Harvard Crimson.
Really good to see the Crimson as well. Coming out playing well out of a media timeout. You're going to see the scoring leaders for the all-time Harvard record books. Harmony Turner, she's now got 1,618 points. She moved into sole possession of 5th place in that game against URI with her 24 points. Huge for her. And honestly, you and I were talking about it pregame. We think that there's a good chance that she gets all the way to 3rd by the time she's done with her career here.
Yeah, plenty of games. I mean, you've seen her drop 40 in a game, seen her drop 30 in a game. So, I mean, it's very within reach for Harmony Turner, and she knows what's at stake as well this season. She wants to go play pro. She wants that opportunity to play at the next level, and she is showcasing her talents throughout this season with this Harvard Crimson team.
Yeah, that's a big reason why one of your keys to the game for BU has to be to stop her, because she is just an impact player everywhere on the floor. One thing I loved, too, from Carrie Moore when we talked to her was she talked about how even when Harmony Turner isn't having a great shooting night, she can be so impactful in other places on the floor. And she's grown so much because Moore said early in her career, she would probably be a little disappointed. She'd get down on herself for not having as many points. However, now she's in the part of her career where she will appreciate the rebounds, the steals, the assists, even a great plus-minus.
Yeah, I thought that Stony Brook game a couple games back for the Crimson really showed that. Didn't have a great shooting night, was 1 of 14, and didn't really feel like she was contributing offensively, but stayed out there on the floor, contributed with the rebounds and the assists. And those are the types of plays that you have to do if you're a star player and you don't have your shot, is how are you going to impact the game otherwise? Are you going to feed your teammates, or are you going to mope about it? And that's a much different personality, much different mindset from Turner in her senior season.
Also, again, led all players in plus-minus for that game as well. So even on nights where she's not shooting well, she's an impact on the floor. That was why also Carrie Moore said she kept her out there, because she needed her to know you are still impacting this game even if you're not the one scoring. Turner with the ball now. Looking inside, trying really hard down low. That was Katie Krupa. Katie Krupa did not play in the game against URI. Great to see her back here today. 3 there for BU. That one railed in by BU. Erickson throws that one shot. Harmony Turner just too fast on that one. It looked like Erickson was going to be able to get the offensive board. Turner just beats her to it. Turner now down on the other side. That one bounces off the rim. Looks like they're going to jump ball inside.
That's a great job by Abigail Wright. Crashing boards, gets the offensive rebound, gives her team another look, and then draws the foul down low. We'll head to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a great job. Abigail Wright, she's the player who has struggled a bit with fouling. That's really the only part of her game she's struggled with this season. Carrie Moore said if she can get the fouling under control, she's going to be a remarkable player for this Crimson team.
Think about her accolades as well. I mean, coming out of high school, Gatorade Player of the Year nominee. I mean, local product, so it has to be something special to play here for the Harvard Crimson.
This is her second, makes the first. BU going to slow things down a little bit. You're still seeing this press from the Crimson. It'll be interesting to see how long they keep that up. Erickson with it now. That ball right off the arm of Mona Zaric.
As Grunstein ducked here, going down back door, trying to get the cut, but just another good job from the defense of the Crimson, not allowing that insert down low.
Gianaros with the ball. Arguably BU's best player. Definitely their best shooter. She proves it right there.
That's where you get comfortable, right? Get that mid-range going, and then you can find the deeper range shot.
Great pass there by Turner. Harvard reels it in. Right inside. Once again looking for Zaric. Harmony Turner, again, out of nowhere, gets the O-board. Picks it outside. Another 3 taken by Harvard, but another O-board, this one by White. And they're going to call it travel there on Zaric. Harvard up by 7, so still a significant lead for Harvard, but you can see the frustration on each player's face when they make little mistakes like that, and that just shows you how calculated this team is and how much they care about making sure every play is the right play and executed the right way.
Yeah, I think that's a give and take, right? Sometimes you get a little too high, a little too low when you make that mistake, but they know that each of their teammates is capable of helping bail them out of a tricky situation.
Pass just over the head of Schwertner. Go right back to the Crimson. Turnovers has been key at this start early here.
Saw that Carrie Moore graphic in her 3rd season has really changed this program. Harvard wanted to get back into the top of the Ivies, and with Carrie Moore at the helm, they've done a really good job winning games, especially in the Ivy League.
Harmony Turner pulls up longer too. That one off and out.
First one sprinting back though on defense is Turner.
Yep, always. Erickson driving inside, goes to the left. That one up and over. Pretty touch. And BU gets 2, brings us within 1. They had actually flipped on the scoreboard. They'd given Harvard 2 instead of BU. So now just a 1-point game. Right in the left corner, right for a 3. That one bounces off the side.
BU just getting too caught inside the paint. All 4 or 5 players are inside the paint when that shot's going up. They don't have any extended rebounders. They got to space out a little bit better on these offensive boards.
Turner trying to waste some of the shot clock and the game clock as well. This is White. White pulls up from a long 2, and she gets it. Shot clock is off. Harvard pressing hard right now. Only 3 seconds now. Turner gets the ball back and gets 2 as the buzzer sounds. And that is Harmony Turner. Welcome back to Levine's Pavilion. You are watching women's college basketball on ESPN. I'm Katie Bennett. Alongside me today, Luis Sanchez and Will Henschel. Luis, we talked a lot about the turnovers in the first quarter because there were 12 committed combined between the two teams. 7 by BU, 5 by Harvard. Harvard, normally a fabulous team at forcing turnovers. Clearly, they've started off doing that well today.
Yeah, had a season high 22 against URI the last time out, and 7 turnovers against the Terriers, and they're capitalizing on those points. 4 points off the turnovers, 12 points in the paint, and 8 on fast break. So they're trying to get these turnovers and go quickly, and so far in the first, they've been able to do that, especially with back-to-back buckets from Harmony Turner to end the first quarter.
I was going to say a turnover came in handy right at the end of that first quarter. You saw Harmony Turner get the turnover herself and score to right as the buzzer sounded. That was huge for Harvard to end off with a 5-point lead instead of a 3. 20-15 our score after 1. BU trying to remedy that as quickly as they can. Great poke out there by Hatira. And Harvard gets the ball back. Once again, it's forcing turnovers. It's like they could hear us. It is so important for this Crimson team.
We talked about establishing the paint. BU has tried. They haven't been able to do so.
3-point shooting has been tough to start for both teams. Right now, Harvard 1 for 9. BU only 2 for 8 as well. Harvard team that shoots about 35% on the year. BU shoots about 33%, so both of these teams have got decent 3-point percentages. It's not been falling today so far. Poked out there by Gabby Anderson. Anderson takes control of it. That one, no, blocked away by Bentley. And Bentley gives her the stare down. Gabby Anderson chuckles it off a little bit.
It's a Bentley block. Look at this. After Anderson just takes it away from Bentley, is going to try to out-hustle CC Bentley, but says no. And the good thing about that is there's no body contact, so there's no foul on that play from Bentley. I think the stare down is why the officials are like, hey, let's go look at this one. It is going to be a technical foul, I believe.
Yep.
Now, my issue with that is in the first quarter, there was a lot of jawing back and forth. You saw Turner have a couple of words for a couple of the players, a couple of BU players as well. If you're gonna call it a little bit more consistently, right? That one's a little tough because, of course, Bentley's going to be pretty hyped up about that play.
Harmony Turner surprisingly misses that free throw.
You know what they say, right? Ball don't lie.
Yeah, you got to make sure you call things like that consistently, of course. Although it's hard because as refs, you can't see everything either. Turner misses both. Shocking from Harmony Turner. She shoots about 82% from the free throw line, and she gets a lot of opportunities at that line as well, since she is not afraid to drive. So, yeah, ball don't lie is absolutely right, and clearly the basketball gods said, hey, we didn't like that, so let's have her miss both of these.
Well, you love these types of games for Harmony Turner because
Yes.
it brings out the best in her when she's getting pressure and people are up in her face and chatting. You're going to see a really good game here from Harmony Turner.
One of the best players at finding the motivation when she's making her own mistakes as well. Turner with it now. Turner, one-on-one matchup that she likes. Almost went up for the jumper. Instead, kicks it out to Rocco, who's got the three. Really important for Harvard to get the 3-game going. And Turner once again with the hustle. He was going to keep the ball, but again, Harmony Turner just loves to waste time. And you also notice there's so much focus on Harmony Turner that Rocco ends up wide open for a 3.
Again, just Jersey's crashing in for BU and more turnovers.
Another forced turnover there. Rocco pulls up from 2. That one hits off the backboard in the rim a few times, but still drops. And that's all that matters.
How about Elena Rocco making her first start and now a couple of buckets here. Had a great game against Boston College earlier this year.
Yeah, Rocco, she's played in all 11 games. This is now the 12th, of course, of the season. Had not started, and it just as a first career start, of course, for her today. You can see that motivation and just that confidence as well. When your coach has enough trust in you to start you as a first year, that's a really big builder for a player like Rocco.
13 points in that loss against Quinnipiac earlier this year. Was a 3-time All-State first-team selection. And led her team to undefeated sectional championships back from 2021 to 2024. They didn't lose a game. I mean, just incredible.
Amazing. No matter what level, where you are, that is an unbelievable statistic.
BU just struggling to find post play. They cannot get that ball into Schwartner as much as they want. And credit Elena Rodriguez.
Yeah, Harvard 9 steals already in this game as a team. Rocco pulling up once again. That one hits off the front of the rim. Bentley with the defensive board, there.
It's a big board too, going up one hand, bringing it in.
Especially with 2 Crimson right next to her. BU now will reset. Down by 10. They've got to get something going soon. They've not scored yet in this second quarter. And a little pretty layup there. Oh, and that one just can't fall. And Turner comes down with the board. Hands it off to Rocco. Rocco drives inside. That one looks good. And it is Rocco. And of course, the timeout taken here by BU. And honestly, a good timeout there for BU and a necessary one to talk things over. And we're going to take a break as Harvard has come out of the second quarter firing on all cylinders. BU hasn't scored yet in the second quarter. Harvard now winning 20. Harvard comes out firing in the second quarter. They have scored all the points that have been scored in the second quarter so far, 3 minutes in. They've had a bit of a shooting slump, though. They were doing really, really well, specifically in points per game in the first 8 games. You can see it there on your screen. Last 3 games, only 58 points per game. That's their average between the last 3. Clearly today they are working their way out of the shooting slump in terms of points. However, they have shot so many shots already today in the first 13 minutes.
Yeah, 12 of 26 to get the game started, and getting more shots because of the offensive rebounds and those second chance opportunities, but you got to start making them.
Yeah, and it's always good when you are getting offensive boards, but you don't want to have offensive boards to make sure you're making shots and making sure you're getting the opportunity at the basket. Great, just a little toss up there by Hatira.
I like the attack from the Crimson here in the second quarter, not forcing up 3-pointers. They're pump faking. They're getting BU to bite. They're opening up space for the mid range, and you want to get comfortable in those shots. And Harvard has been able to do that here in the second.
Well, and yet, look, and here they are on the other side of the floor, still playing great defense. That really, to me, makes good teams into great teams. When you not only are playing this well on the offensive side, but you also are making sure that you are getting back on defense, setting your feet, and making sure you're staying in the right places.
Yeah, points in the paint, 12-4 in favor of Harvard. And 4 out of the 15 points for BU are in the paint. It's not where they want to be, and especially in a game where they're missing 3 true point guards, you got to get your guards involved to help those bigs, and you can see it already with the turnovers. The bigs or the guards are trying to feed the bigs in the post, but those passes aren't clean enough, and Harvard's jumping all over it.
Ava Gormley, as well as Bella McLaughlin, 2 point guards for BU that are not suited up today. Pretty shot there. That was White. I love, too, that we have seen this press for Harvard from the very beginning, and they still have yet to let off, and it is continuing over and over and over again to force turnovers. BU has 11 turnovers already This is a team, by the way, they average about 18 a game, which that number in itself is a little higher than you might like, but they are well on their way to forcing BU to over 20 turnovers in this game.
About the season high against URI. I mean, they're well on their pace to get past that.
And we still have more than 5 minutes left in this second quarter. So much game left to be played. Once again, the pressure immense. Renee gets it inside, finds Adler. Adler finally gets a couple in for BU here.
Adler had a couple of looks. We saw her working on those post moves in the pregame and finally gets an opportunity to spin away from the defender and kiss it.
Rodriguez a little open space. Hands it off to White on the left side. Atira now drives inside, pulls up from the paint. That one off the backboard and in.
Developed that shot here throughout the season, knowing the collegiate game speeds you up.
Working inside for Adler once again. Turner tried to really get to the basketball faster than she did, but Adler misses down low. Rodriguez is looking for it. Stays with BU.
That's a good fight for the rebound there by Gunstein Dottir. Just fighting with Elena Rodriguez. Got the body positioning and then just hit it off Rodriguez in the fight for the rebound. We see BU really trying to feed Adler, and that's what they have to get some presence in the paint so that three-point shot is open or those mid-range shots are open.
Another turnover for BU. Rodriguez wide open down low. She's going to get the easy layup for two. We're at the point in the game. Harvard almost a 20-point lead here. 18-point lead right now. You've got to, if you're BU, really make everything perfect for the last quarter.
A turnover, another jump ball or tie up that leads to the jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Crimson. You talked about, I mean, that's now 5 steals for Elena Rodriguez here in the first half and more offensive opportunities for the Crimson. BU only 2 points here in the second quarter.
Another thing, too, that I love to see is that scoring has been very diversified for Harvard. It's not just the Harmony Turner show. It has been Gabby Anderson. She has 6. Turner has 6. Rocco has 6. That's all tied for the game lead right now. I love when you see stuff like that from a Crimson team who can normally just rely on Turner to score. And, of course, she's still going to score some, as she does right there.
She'll find her way no matter what. That's what Harmony Turner does. But you said, I mean, even Hatira right now has had a couple of buckets back-to-back where she's pulling up, finding the shot. You saw Wright take a big shot earlier. Going to be a 10-second turnover.
Oh, my goodness. This has just been perfect basketball from the Crimson in this second quarter. 20-point lead now. And this is what the press does. And I kid you not, this is the perfect representation of what a press is supposed to do. It's, of course, you want to force a turnover. You do it there, but you do it in even almost the best way because a 10-second violation is so satisfying for the team that makes you do that. And BU, it's just another frustrating call. And it's something, we've got 4 minutes now left in this first half. You're going to have to regroup at halftime and make sure that you're really controlling your own mistakes. Abby Anderson here. Bounce pass over to Rodriguez. She's got another 2 on that jumper.
And again, Rodriguez stuck in some trouble, couldn't find the pass, kicks it back out, gets patient, resets her location. Anderson drives, draws the double team, and then Rodriguez is open.
Another turnover that Harvard is forced. Right open on the right corner. That one just off the rim, but gets the board is the Crimson.
Carly White has been fighting down in the paint, and all 5'9" of her.
Rodriguez kicks it out to White. White, her chance to get a 3. That one a little short. BU does get the board that time. And oh my goodness, BU just having so much trouble setting up 2-0, and Gabby Anderson gets another 2, and we're going to take a timely timeout as Harvard has emerged in this second quarter. BU only scoring 2 so far in these first 6 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, I was just watching Melissa Graves, and you can see after that pass was taken away, she wanted that timeout immediately. That was a 3-0, just one player hustling back, so has to reset the team here in this timeout. So 3:08 remaining. Got to get some buckets, some easy looks at the rim, and so far, BU hasn't even been able to set up a play in the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the big thing, right? If you're BU, you have got to make sure that you can at least set up in your offensive end and make sure that you're not only just executing your game plan, but you've got to go now back to the basics. You've got to make sure you are handling the ball, taking care of the ball. That's got to be the only thing you're talking about in this huddle right now. Please, you've got to take care of this ball.
And that's one of the things that Melissa Graves talked to us about. Like,
Yeah.
you got to protect the ball, and they have not done a good job protecting the ball here in this first half. When you think about the team that Harvard is, they're going to put the pressure on you, and they're going to try to create turnovers, and you can see that statistically here. How do you respond if you're a team, especially a young team like this BU team?
Graves said specifically what she needed to get the win today was take care of the ball. That was first, but then also she said they've worked a lot against the full court press in practice. Harvard has still really basically run whatever they wanted on the press, and it's really worked in their favor. BU gets that shot off there. It bounces unluckily off the rim and out of bounds right above the hoop. Graves also talked about trapping and ball screens, transition D, and again, just focusing on Turner at all times. That was really the keys, she said, to getting a win. So far, Harvard has really just outplayed BU right now. It's pretty clear by the score.
It's really been here in the second, right?
Yeah,
5-point game going into the second quarter, and Harvard came out of that timeout and that quarter break and really has put the foot down here against the Terriers.
Well, even in quarter one, BU came out. It was 8-5. BU leads. And Harvard came back 9-8 before that media timeout. But you're right, it's the second quarter. Because you finish the first quarter, it's 20-15. You're like, all right, both teams. You're going in, you're like, this is a close one. We've played all right. We didn't start amazing, but we're still close. This is a good game. And now all of a sudden, this second quarter, Harvard has just been absolutely amazing. Right there for a three. That one hits off the rim. Oh, what a great job by the other White.
Tried to get that offensive board, almost did.
She was close.
Monteagudo has been trying to fire shots up, just hasn't been able to sink them.
It's good for BU, though, to see them get a little offensive sustained zone time, and then Harvard just takes it away. Ripped it right out of BU's hands. This is where you've got to capitalize, too, if you're BU, because Harmony Turner is sitting on the bench. She's not on the floor. Air ball there. But if you're BU and you know Turner's sitting on the bench, which she does not often in these games, she plays a lot of minutes, you've got to make sure you're capitalizing. Because, again, we've talked about Turner and how good she is on both sides of the floor. Of course, she's a scorer, but she can do so well in transition D, steals, anything you need her to do.
She like this opportunity for Carrie Moore to try to get these players that maybe haven't seen too much extended time out there, get them ready for conference play when you really need them.
Turner, again, averaging about 33 minutes per game. So you obviously don't have too many just times on the floor when she's not on the floor. BU with it here under the basket. Trying for that underhand alley-oop almost. BU just really struggling to get points right now. White and three can't go. BU gets the board. Monteagudo. Erickson now with it on the left side. Monteagudo resets. Plenty of time, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Monteagudo tries to go inside, hits it out to Erickson. Erickson, that one's going to be short.
That's a great play there by Sonny Caesar. She comes in, boxes out the biggest player in Adler, adjusts a shot, and even crashes boards.
That three can't go. Asani Caesar only played in 2 games this year, only about 3 minutes she's averaging per game. So that shows you, too, that Carrie Moore wants to get some of these players who have not gotten in some time, as you just mentioned.
Like about second off the shot clock and the game clock.
10 seconds now left in the first half. Monteagudo just getting so much pressure. She tries to drive inside the basket. Same play. And the shot cannot get off in time. Didn't make it even anyway. 0.6 now left on the clock. But that just has to be so devastating if you're BU, because you're finally getting some offensive zone time. And then you just still cannot get points off of it. Runs out in this first half. It has clearly been all Harvard, but to look at that number, 19 for BU in that first half.
Yeah, they hadn't had 20 since a couple games back where they had 20 against UAlbany in a blowout loss. And then the other time was against UConn. And we know how good UConn is defensively. They were able to make the adjustments in recent games, but the way Harvard started this game off, the press, the traps, the double teams, it felt like BU was not ready for that type of pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, This is a team, by the way, in BU that averages about 18 turnovers a game. The fact that Harvard is so good that they force 19 in a first half, it really also, it speaks more, I think, to Harvard than it does to BU, because Harvard would not be as good of a team as they are unless they were forcing as many turnovers as they have in this first half. We are underway here in the second half. 20 minutes to play. BU, of course, needing to make some adjustments at halftime. We'll see what they can come up with. Open three opportunity. What a great start for BU.
Chelsea Agudo started the game off with the three, and now she starts the second half off with the three. You know how prepared she is here for the second half of this one. She came in and spotted that one up nicely.
Monte Agudo now 6 points. Harmony Turner, of course, is going to show up on the other side of the floor.
We're talking about those threes. I think she might have heard you from across the court because she was like, wait, I made no threes?
Hang on. We can't have that. There's no way Harmony Turner would go a whole game without having a three. She makes that check tally early in the second half.
Best plus minus of that first half, 24 for Harmony Turner. Next closest was Gabby Anderson with 20 and Elena Rodriguez with 20.
Even all three of those are unbelievable plus minuses for a first half. You would expect numbers like that at the end of a game, not at halftime. BU here, they make it through the press. That was a problem in the first half as well.
And now they're going to Giannaros, who's really more of the true point guard on the roster. Played point guard in high school and got to move to that 2 position, but with the depleted point guard group, they're going to need her today.
Schwerner can't make that layup go. Schwerner's been quiet as well today. She was our player to watch because she's been so good in her rookie campaign. It's not been her day so far. Another shot taken there this time. It's from Olivia Hatira. And another turnover forced by the Crimson. That makes 20 on the day so far for BU.
Well, Hatira just again makes the shot, gets into her position on the press, and immediately makes an impact by creating another turnover against this Terriers group.
Harmony Turner an opportunity here. Plenty of time to set up too. That's what happens when you have a turnover in your own end on your offensive side. That one, Anderson misses that. Gabby Anderson also having a great day so far as well. 9 points early.
That kept Harvard in it in that first quarter where it felt like nobody else can make a shot. Yep. Gabby Anderson was the one for the Crimson to keep them ahead.
Anderson already way above her season average for points per game. Season average 5.6. Again, she's got 9 today. Gordner at the top of the key, only 4 seconds on the shot clock, runs right into Harmony Turner, and she's called for the travel.
A couple of times for Schwartner, and freshman trying to get used to the bigger size here that Harvard has. Is she sees the trouble but still goes into the trouble on the turn. You want to try to reverse pivot, make the defense bite on that first, and then go back the other way on the reverse.
Rodriguez thought about driving there, instead kicks it back out to Hatira. Now Turner's going to set it up.
You like BU here at the zone. They've forced Harvard to take outside shots.
Anna Rodriguez has the extra second, and she takes the dribble and scores 2. Almost 50 points already for Harvard, a team, talked about it early in the first half. They've been struggling, specifically points per game wise, in the last couple of games.
Yeah, especially that URI game, felt like the shooting percentages weren't where they wanted them to be as a coaching staff for the Crimson. And here in this game, really lighting it up. We talked about the first half, 45% already starting off here in the third with a couple of made easier shots. I think they're going to move the spot to where the ball went out of bounds. I think it was a little further than where it went over the line.
It's going to be Erickson inbounding the ball for the Terriers. Harmony Turner, almost another forced turnover. That's something specifically she as a player is really good at. She's got a lot of steals on the season. She's a very quick player as well. Erickson shoots the 3, that one off the back of the rim. Hatira with the rebound. Moving quickly is Harmony Turner. Immediately draws 3 players, and yet she still goes in. Gets her 2, and the and 1.
Turner knew as soon as she got that ball on the transition, she was going to attack the rim. Scarlet jerseys all around. It doesn't matter for Harmony Turner. Just steps through and nice over the outstretched arms of Erickson. Just beautifully done here by Harmony Turner.
Well, and not many players would continue to drive inside the basket when you see 3 players of the opposing team in your face right in front of you. Harmony Turner not afraid of anything.
Turner was calling for the and ones in the first half. Finally gets one here in the second.
Harvard now leads by 31 and turns the ball over once again. Unintentional foul there.
Another great job trying to force the turnovers, create turnovers, and you just see different players attacking the ball.
I'm going to send it over to the third member of our crew, Will Henschel. He talked to BU at halftime. Will, what you got?
Obviously, with the tough situation coming out of the half, with a huge deficit to claw back on, but she really emphasized just eliminating those turnovers. You guys have talked about that so much at the start of this second half, but Harvard had 19 points off of 19 turnovers in the first. That had to be eliminated. I then asked Coach Graves, how are you going to find the basket yourself? And she says, without that real true point guard, it's very tough to find points, but we do need to get the ball inside, and we need to take advantage of our size advantage down low. So look for a lot of post play, look for a lot of opportunities at the glass for the Terriers in this second half.
Thank you so much, Will. You make a great point there, especially inside the paint. You expect BU to have more points in the paint and to win that battle because of their size. And yet at halftime, points in the paint were greatly skewed in Harvard's direction, 22-6.
Yeah, just incredible what Harvard has been able to do, just forcing things outside the paint for the Terriers. Nothing easy.
Another 3-point attempt there by Rocco. Rocco, another person who's had a great day today for the Crimson, her first career start. She's added a couple tallies to the significant lead the Crimson have right now. Schwertner looking inside and just can't find Adler. Gabby Anderson too quick. Anderson now going to drive all the way inside, underhand. This is that one. Turner gets the rebound. Turner's going to reset. Love the play, though, there by Gabby Anderson.
Yeah, just attack, right? Just keep attacking. Saw an opening there against two of the bigs in Schwertner and Adler and tried to find an opening, but just couldn't kiss it off the glass.
Well, and Anderson knows, too. She's got the speed. She might not have the height advantage there, but she's definitely got the quickness. Foul called there.
Both teams subbing here, trying to get some fresh legs out there. You can see Giannaro's for BU really now as the point guard here in the third, trying to run the floor back and forth, get back defensively. Now trying to match up here with Carly White.
Rodriguez has it at the point. Once again, this time it's Harvard who turns the ball over, but we're going to talk about turnovers the entire game. Harvard 21 points off of turnovers. That is more than BU has in the game so far. Shows you how big of an importance. Sometimes turnovers could be minuscule, sometimes they're a non-factor. That is surely not the case here today.
And another one.
Turner no look pass to Rodriguez down low, and she gets the foul. Turner clearly had her eyes in the opposite direction. Rodriguez, I love the play too here. She just hesitates slightly. She knows she's going to get the call.
Yeah, just pulls up right there at the block and then realize I got two players coming in swapping, so let me put the ball up. And sometimes you see the player take the extra bounce and go for the other side of the rim. That time Rodriguez felt the pressure and took it.
That's a veteran player, too, who does that, because that's not something that you learn when you are just getting into collegiate basketball, or even if you know how to do that in high school level. It's a lot more aggressive in college women's basketball. And Rodriguez, she's got the height, too, where she just knows someone's coming around you. She can so easily just hang on for just another second. And she's going to make both of her free throws.
This has added everything, right, for Rodriguez. 6 assists. 6 steals for Rodriguez, add a rebound and 1 assist and a block for Elena.
The steals for me is an unbelievable number for her as well. That's many, many more than her season average. Another turnover, right? Just threw that one up. That almost looked like it was more of a front pass, not even a shot. Somehow Harvard continues to score and capitalize. we've got some players in the game right now for both teams that haven't seen a ton of minutes. And we're now going to take the media timeout. Little hesitation there, but
is that season started with a loss to Minnesota before the Crimson started a 16-game, 80-day-long unbeaten streak between November 15th and February 3rd. In 2017, the Crimson made it all the way to the second round of the WNIT, while the team on the court right now has their eyes on another deep postseason run. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Will. And he makes a really great point about just simply how impressive it is to start the way this team has started. The 2016 team, a remarkable beginning. This team right here that we're watching in front of us for the Crimson, not that far off from that.
Yeah, just incredible. 10-1 start. They've played so well here at Levites since Carrie Moore has taken over. 4-0 this year, looking to go 5-0 here in control against Boston University. And, you know, this is a team that had some heartbreaking losses in the past couple of years in the postseason, right? The Ivy League lost semis to Columbia by 2 points. They lost in the Great Eight to Columbia as well. So it's one of those that this is a hungry group. The seniors know what it is to be heartbroken, and they want to take that heartbreak and turn it into some joy here at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, and if you look at the schedule, too, that the Crimson has left, they're playing University of Delaware, a CAA team. That's their last non-conference battle of the year. From what I've seen of Delaware, they're a decent team. I think Harvard should get the win there. So you'll end the year off, and you'll be 12-1 if they, of course, get the win here today against BU. Then you go into conference play. We're going to talk about that throughout the entire second half. That's where it gets a little more difficult for the Crimson because all these teams much more familiar with each other. That's how any conference is. And there is some big talent in this Ivy League conference, specifically Princeton and Columbia, two of the top favorites in the Ivy League preseason poll. Princeton, they're going to play January 11th, so they're going to get that one of their matchups against them early in the new year. White goes for a three down low, gets her own board, and then underhands it and gets the call. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Wright has struggled a little bit on fouling. That's been the one category, honestly, that she has not succeeded in. She has done so well today. She's been on the floor for longer and has been very cautious with how she is handling herself and now even drawing fouls for this team.
Yeah, 10 minutes has just been, as you said, secure, right? Not overcommitting, staying with her assignment, not running into bodies. And I think that's one of the big things for Abigail this year, going from last year to this year, is just taking that next step and being a little bit more disciplined on the court when you are in those types of situations.
Yeah, even Carrie Moore said, this is a player who's going to be unbelievable for us and really utilize all of the skills we need her to be when she stops fouling. And Carrie Moore, she just said she's got a couple times where an elbow goes up that shouldn't have. And that's just all about training and learning and getting better at that really as time progresses. That's not something that she expected her to be perfect at in her sophomore season, but she's getting better at it as the season progresses. BU now with the ball. Only 5 seconds on the shot clock. And Bentley is just going to have to... decided not to shoot up that three. Instead looks down low inside, trying to find Channing Warren.
This is the first real full season for CC Bentley. Missed last year due to injury. Saw some action against UNH with 11 points. Was 9 of 10 from the free throw line. And then we talked about that first start against UMass Lowell.
Right down low, trying to really just force that basket in. Can't get it there, but she does find the three. And what a great play it is from Katie Krupa. We mentioned Krupa didn't play in that URI game. Carrie Moore wasn't sure if she was going to be here today. And Krupa making an impact here in this second half.
But then great decision making, right? We talked about Abigail Wright. Goes up a couple times, realizes it's not there, and then pulls it back out and finds Katie Krupa.
Same spot. Let's see if it's the same result. Not that time. It's going to bounce off the back of the rim. They've now got quite a few bench players in as well for Harvard, and yet they're still maintaining this press and still doing it effectively as well.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you follow the assignments. Make sure that you earn your role, right? When you come into conference play, we talked about how important it is going to be in Ivy League play. You've got to earn that spot out on the floor.
Right, makes a great play to get her hand on the ball. Can't quite reel in possession.
It's another possession, though, for Boston University with the shot clock's under 10 right now at 7. And We talked about the press and the pressure. Now it's on the defensive side, on their own side, Harvard locking in defensively and forcing BU to really think about what the opportunity is going to be.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Gianna Roos with it down low, and she's going to get the 2 and the and 1. That's the type of play we are used to seeing from number 10.
Yeah, and that's her deciding, I've got to go attack, and Giannaros realizes that she has a good matchup here. She's just going to drive, gets by the defender, and then puts it up. That's Mnasi, who was trying to keep her in front, but the senior with the senior move there.
And Mnasi, that was her first play that she's seen in this game. Giannaros can't get the and 1, but still gets 2 more for BU. Mnasi with it now. Only played in 2 games this season so far. White now with it. She drives down the left side, throws it up towards the basket. And the whole bench looking for the and 1. Basket is still going to count, though. 63 points for the Crimson.
Well, Harvard said, what size mismatch?
Also, you got to go back to how important it is when you see, I mean, this is a big lead for Harvard. They're going to win this game. We've still got 12 minutes to play. So important for conference play to have bench players who can come in at any moment and still perform their duties and be the role player that Harvard needs them to be. This is great practice for them. And it's honestly just nice to see the floor right before conference play as well, because you can finally get a few minutes in, even for the players who haven't seen much action. It is so good to be ready, again, at any time your team needs you to play.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in a season,
Yep.
right? Injuries are a part of it. Maybe days off are a part of it, load management. So you've got to make sure that, as you said, when your number is called, you're ready to play. And around these parts, next man up, next woman up are big sayings, and it's no different for the Harvard Crimson.
Harmony Turner back into the game for the Crimson. I was going to say, I was wondering if we were going to see her just take a seat. And, of course, I'm sure she said, Coach, don't take me out. I want to play the rest of this game.
Turner's a baller. She will
Yeah.
stay out there in a blowout loss and a blowout win. She'll want to play no matter what.
Great play by Krupa to get it outside. That one can't quite fall for Mnasi.
Well, Masi and Caesar both looking for some points here. Players that haven't seen a lot of playing time, but still trying to get an opportunity here against BU. You see the bench ready to
Yep.
erupt for the Crimson.
When you always, if you're starters on the floor like Turner, you want to find the players who don't get buckets as much. But if you're going to have the shot clock expiring, who else would you want to have but Turner? Oh, and Harvard almost comes down with the board.
Giannaros just said, enough
Yep.
of that, right? Let's.
She's tired. She's like, let's not do that anymore, please. Under 10 seconds now in the third quarter. No one there. It just looked like a miscommunication.
Out of sorts.
Yeah.
Out of sorts. I mean, you got to understand where your assignment is. You got to understand where your position is. And even Melissa Graves just slams her hand on the paper over there by the scorer's table. Not happy with what she's seeing offensively. Another quarter where BU is struggling to make shots.
Harmony Turner gets the shot off before the clock expires. She can't quite make that one go, but it is still a giant lead for the Crimson right now. They lead by 41. We've got 10 minutes left to play. And I mean, Katie Krupa, she comes in, makes a great. She felt like her team went in expecting the win because they had had a great start to the year and because they felt like they were a better team than Quinnipiac. But instead of using that as more of a confidence booster for yourselves, they almost took it for granted and did not give Quinnipiac really their roses. They've been playing unbelievably this season. You just mentioned it. And now, of course, again, it doesn't look as bad. But even then, it was still one of those games that I think Harvard needed. You've got to have a loss or two at the beginning of your season because otherwise you don't learn what to do when you're losing. And then all of a sudden playoffs come around or Ivy League play even comes around and you don't know how to come back when you're down.
And I think a big part of that as well is when you're looking as a committee, right?
Yeah.
You see that first loss early on, and then you realize, you look at the record, and you're like, well, the Bobcats might make a conference championship. They might earn the automatic bid. So now that loss becomes, even for the Harvard Crimson as players, you're like, well, maybe that wasn't our baddest game, right? So it's one of those things where you got to give credit to Quinnipiac, but you also got to take the lessons in that loss, as you talked about, and implement them. An 8-game winning streak shows that they've taken that loss to heart and have made the adjustments.
Well, and of course, we're at the point in the season where there's so much conference play left. You don't know what's going to happen, but let's say we do get down to conference play and Harvard isn't the winner at the end of the Ivy League championship. Wins like that and losses like the Quinnipiac one, they're going to play a part in how anyone's going to decide for an at-large bid as well. Because let's say Harvard plays really well for the end of this conference stretch. I mean, you're going to take losses into consideration always when you're looking at at-large bids. And I'd be shocked if Harvard continues the stretch they have now if they don't get an at-large bid, if they don't win the Ivy League championship.
Hatita was the one that got that charge. It looked like maybe he was still in the cylinder there, so gets the call, but another defensive stand for the Crimson. Just 7 points in quarters 2 and 3 for Boston University.
Yeah, and it's simple as that. You're not going to win games like that. Sometimes it actually does come down to numbers. That one is a huge glaring one for BU.
Think about 1 for 9 in the second quarter, 0 for 4 from 3, and then 2 of 9 in the third, and 1 of 4 from 3. And here's this last play, right? You got Rocco, but Hatita slides over, and she's clearly in the cylinders. That's a tough call there. I would understand the frustration from the assistant coaches who got up from Boston University.
And it's so tough too because at this point in the game, Harvard's probably thinking, oh, well, we're up by so much. And BU also, by the way, yes, this has not been their greatest game. That is pretty much simple as that. However, you still want to be practicing how you want to be playing the rest of the year. So even if it's just for the rest of this game, you want to not make little mistakes. You want to really fix the fine-tune things that you haven't been able to do in this game so far. So there's still plenty you can do if you're BU. It's just you're not going to win this game. And let's see right there. Great play set up by BU. Schwertner gets down low, gets the pass, gets the bucket, and the end one. It's plays like that you want to continue to do in these last 8 minutes because it will make you better for your next games.
And I always love the response of a team after a game like this, right? The loss against UAlbany was 72-36. They come back and earn that victory against UMass Lowell. That was a game they trailed it going into the fourth quarter and had to have a fourth quarter comeback. So it just shows you the resiliency of this Terriers group. And yeah, they might have a tough loss here today, but these are the types of games that you learn the most from, right? Who do you have on your team? Who's fighting? Who's going after those loose balls, even in a blowout loss?
Well, and to go back to that UMass Lowell game as well, it was 62-55. Gianna Rose had 13 points. Schwertner had 13 points, 12 boards. And by the way, again, another piece that they're missing today, it was Bella McLaughlin. She had 10 points as well. And then Bentley had 7 boards. So you're missing one of your point guards. She was a big impact player in the UMass Lowell game. But they also did a lot of things well in that UMass Lowell game that has been a struggle here today. They had 36 points in the paint in that UMass Lowell game. It has been a completely different story here. They've been really struggling to penetrate the paint and utilize their height and their size.
Yeah, 44 rebounds in that game, just under 30 here in this one. So the rebounds, we talked about it during the open. It's going to be a big part of where they dictate play, especially when it comes to Patriot League play.
And 15 turnovers. That was another turnover there by BU. 15 turnovers less than their season average. That was UMass Lowell. And today, it has not been that case. Right now, 32 turnovers. That's the number for BU. And Harvard still capitalizing off it as well. They're about to hit the 70-point mark.
We talked about it. 33 turnovers against UConn was the season high. And Harvard continues to pressure here. Well, Turner just took it away and made it 33.
Harmony Turner still in the game. She's going to pull up and just shoot 2. Starters are back out for the Crimson. Another thing, too, you sometimes see coaches pull your starters at this point in the game. 7 minutes left. You're clearly going to win this one. But you've got to think that Carrie Moore is keeping these players out because she knows conference play is right around the corner, and you need to be able to be really just as consistent as possible as you can in the conference plays. And then also, you've got to have your athleticism, and everything has got to be pretty perfect.
Well, both teams just want to be healthy, right? Both teams a little depleted with some injuries, and for Harvard, they've got who they got. Rodriguez wanted to foul. I think the whole bench wanted to foul on that one.
Yep. Another big play by Elena Rodriguez. Now a couple starters taken off the floor. And we are going to have a timeout. We're going to head to our break as well. 6.5 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter. Harvard a significant lead right now.
On 5 and 6. I mean, Brown and Yale and Cornell and Dartmouth, they always put up a fight. So nothing's going to be easy in the Ivy League, but those top teams look like they're poised to make another run.
Well, yeah, and if you look at the Ivy League standings right now, of course, conference play has not started yet, so that has not been taken into consideration. But Harvard, of course, is number one with their 10-1 start. It then goes Penn, Columbia, Princeton. So a little bit of a mix-up, but you would expect 3 of those to be in the top 4. And then even Penn not far behind as well. But as I mentioned, great start to the season.
Especially with the Ivy tournament now, right? It just makes it that much more exciting. You never know what's going to happen on any given night. We saw some upsets already in the past couple of years, so I'm really excited to see, about January, February, where we are in conference standings between these two teams. Even in the Patriot League for Boston University, it feels like the Patriot League is another league that's pretty much wide open. I know Army's having a great start to the year. Loyola Maryland was picked as one of the favorites, so both teams have a good opportunity to finish at the top, or if not, the top-ish of their conference.
Well, and last season, the Crimson, they went 9-5 in the Ivy League play. They were 16-12. They also lost to Columbia in the opening round of the Ivy League tournament. So you got to think there's a little chip on their shoulder from that because it was 61-63. That is a tight game, tight loss. Columbia ended up going far, making a good run.
That's 2 years now. Columbia has taken Harvard out of postseason play.
You got to think with the start Harvard's had this year, they know they're the favorites. They want to win. It'll be so interesting to see how conference play works out. 5 seconds now on the shot clock. Schwertner going to drive inside, loses the ball, and it just rolls out of bounds. Let's see how the ref marks it.
It's again one of those plays with Schwertner where she realized she has to go left, and then 2 defenders slide over to cut off that angle. She continues to go left. Cut it back right. Do that little hop step. Put the ball in the air. Move it around a little bit to open up some space. You don't have to just stay direct in your motion.
They add 1 second back onto the clock, so BU does still keep it. They're going to have to get it in and shoot it immediately. Erickson does. That one, just a floater. And they're even going to say shot clock violation, so she didn't get it off in time. It's a tough play. 1 second on the clock. You pretty much can't even look at the basket. You just have to throw the shot up there.
Now 37 turnovers for Boston University.
Well above their season average, also well above the most they've had on this season.
40 points off of turnovers for the Crimson. More points off turnovers than BU has. I mean, just incredible.
Well, and that is the game right there. I mean, think about it. If Harvard had 42 less points, this would be a much more manageable game.
Just got it over before 10 seconds.
Already had 1 10-second violation today early in the first half. And again, we mentioned it a little earlier in this fourth quarter. It's now about making the little things count and making the little moments count. If you're BU, you're going singular possession by singular possession. You're making play-by-play. You're just making sure you're doing things the right way. Unintentional collision there.
Yeah, Jasper went for the rebound. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you've got Holland Snyder just coming in.
We are going to take another break. Under 5 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Harvard still this commanding lead, 76. A great little toys for everyone. It's a great day. And you know what? We just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. It's a great time to be around your family.
Feliz Navidad for all the Spanish crowd joining in. And it's one of those things that when you have both teams contribute to the initiative, it makes it that much more special. And both teams know how important it is to give back during this time of year.
Under 5 minutes now left to play. BU down significantly here to the Crimson. It's all about turnovers today. Right now, Harvard 42 points off of 37 turnovers.
You know what? Going to work, yeah.
You know what I love to see, though, from BU is in that break, BU still comes back onto the floor. They're still smiling a little bit. They're not really just trying to just get this game over with. They are still trying to play. They're still trying to improve themselves in these last 5 minutes. That is really hard to do when you are down by this much.
It's one of those things that you don't get discouraged, right?
Yeah.
You realize that there's still something to be learned in a loss and ways to get better. That's what you want from a team's culture.
Another 3 attempt by Katie Krupa. She made one of those early in this second half. Call a double dribble there on Zaric.
Zaric was looking for some contact on the ball, never got it. So when she put it back down on the ground, this turns it over. Only the 8th turnover for the Crimson.
Which is shocking considering we started this game with a whole slew of turnovers. In the first quarter alone, Harvard had 5 turnovers, which means, if you can do math, that 3 turnovers have been in the second quarter through where we are now in this game. And that's honestly remarkable because if anyone was here at the start of this one, the first few plays were completely discombobulated. It was turnover after turnover on both sides. There was really no chance for anyone to get set up. Looks like Schwertner got hit in the face there. She looks to be okay.
We talked about the numbers, 57-11 in the last 3 quarters for the Crimson. They've outscored BU since that 20-15 first.
Well, and Harvard's done a lot right today, but you and I talked about it a little bit at the break that 3-point shooting has not been the shining star for the Crimson today. They are 4 of 30 right now. Now, the thing that has made them so successful in this game is that they offensive rebound and they make sure they're getting the ball back, and then they're scoring pretty much easy 2s or easy layups, and then that's where they're getting all their points from. But that's one thing you're going to have to look at for Harvard is that you got to get better in that area because not all these teams that you're going to play in the Ivy League especially are going to let you have that many boards.
Yeah, 17 offensive rebounds of the 36. It's just been incredible. You talk about capitalizing on the second chance points, 14 for the Crimson.
Well, and when I talked to Carrie Moore, actually a few weeks ago, she said that there was still a lot she wanted her team to get better at, and she actually was so happy that that's what they were in the season because she said if you're perfect by November, December, that means that something's bound to go wrong when it matters the most. And she said she would so much rather her team be better and be at their best in conference play and when every single game, every single point matters, instead of non-conference play, where of course you're learning, you're progressing, you're wanting to get better, but you don't need to necessarily be perfect.
That's one of the things, right, is you get so caught up in having a perfect record, having a great shooting percentage, having the best of the best numbers, and instead it's just about doing your job, doing your role.
Blocks on both sides of the floor. 2:30 now left to play in the game. We've now got bench players out for both sides, what we'd expect to see at this point in the game. Wow, there you go. We were just talking about threes. They heard us. It's Hollensteiner. Makes a 3.
Sophomore's been looking for that shot.
Yeah.
She had a couple of good looks. This time gets it to fall and give herself a little, going down the floor.
Well, and huge for the Crimson. We just mentioned it. They'd only made 4 of 31, now 5 of 32, so not a great percentage, but even just little steps like that, when you can get back in the right direction, are important.
Something that low-key happened in this game, it's a bigger BU team. Their post has great size. But what Harvard did is attack, right? They attacked, they continue to attack. Even the guards were getting rebounds over the forwards and the centers, and I think that gave, an indication early on that, hey, we can attack. Doesn't matter if they're big, we can still finish. And it continues here in the fourth, even with the bench players coming in and Nasi attacking the rim. We saw a couple of players just come in and keep that mindset as well.
Gonna get a look at Harvard's upcoming schedule. We've talked about it a little bit. We mentioned the Delaware game. That's going to be their last game before the new year ends, or the new year starts. Excuse me. I would hope the new year wouldn't end quite yet. And of course, you've got Ivy League conference play starting. Yale, Princeton, Brown, and Penn. Those are some tough matchups. We mentioned Princeton and Penn, both in the top 4 right now in the Ivy League standings. And no team can be rolled over in the Ivy League. It's just not one of those conferences.
And then on the road in Providence against Brown, that's never an easy game for the Crimson as well. So they got to take care of business. That first game against Yale, rivalry matchup. So nothing easy on their schedule in Ivy League play.
Well, and again, when you get to conference play, these teams know each other so much better than non-conference opponents do. You always do your scouting. You always know what you're expecting from teams. But Ivy League, they know each other well, and they know the players well. They know a lot more than when a non-conference team comes in. That makes your job so much harder as a head coach and as players on the floor. Not a minute to play. Harvard still working hard and honestly making great plays. That was Zaric. This is where you also see the bench players get very excited. or who normally are starters now on the bench get excited because you're seeing players who don't normally score get some points. Speaking of, Emnasi, drop back, steps off, drops her defender, makes the jump shot. Woo!
That was nasty work from Nina. Oh,
And again, a bench player does not see a lot of time on the floor, makes a fabulous play. That has just been the name of the game today for the Crimson. Now 30 seconds to play. It's a 60-point advantage. That is a remarkable number. You don't see that really happen ever. Travel called there. I mean, we've mentioned a lot of absolutely outrageous numbers today, but 60-point lead is absolutely ridiculous, especially considering this has not been a super uneven series.
yeah, it's been a really great series between these two teams, and you go back to some of the margins of victory, and even the largest margin of victory was about 40 points or 39 points back in 1980. So credit this Harvard defense, credit their offense for capitalizing and taking advantage. BU shouldn't hang their heads. This is a really good Harvard team, and the Terriers will have a good showing in Patriot League play.
Yep, and you know what? Plenty to learn when you lose like that. Clock obviously strikes 0. Huge win for the Crimson. It's 86-26. That's going to be our final score as the teams line up to shake hands. And I mean, Luis, there wasn't much that Harvard did wrong today.
No, I mean, maybe take too many three-pointers,
Yep.
but that's part of the game now, right? You're seeing more and more teams take 25, 30 three-pointers per game and taking advantage of the shots that they were given opportunities to get second chance points, to capitalize off the points, off the turnovers, to establish the paint. We talked about how important it is to establish the paint. 36 points in the paint to the 10 for Boston University, and that's a huge way to put your mark on the end of this first half.
Oh, and look at the excitement, too, from Harvard. Every win counts. Every win matters. Harvard's going to move to